You check your bank out. Heartbeat already a little fast. You swipe down to refresh, and for the first time ever, there's 4 digits that don't disappear right after rent. You got a cushion now. You're not rich, you're not free, but you ain't drowning either. And here's the crazy part. Nothing externally changed. Same job, same paycheck, same bills. But internally, your brain starts moving different. You breathe different. You think different. You move different. And that's what nobody talks about. Because $10,000 isn't life-changing money, but it changes how life feels. My name is Unc, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, behavior, and why smart people stay broke. And if you're someone who feels behind financially or overthinks every single purchase, stick around. We're about to talk about what actually changes after $10,000. Not the motivational Twitter version, the real one. Here's the thing. Objectively,
10 grand ain't a lot of money. I know that sounds wild, but stay with me. According to the Federal Reserve, about 37% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money. So if you're sitting on $10,000 in cash, you're already ahead of millions of people. But here's what most folks don't get. The power of 10K isn't what it buys, it's what it removes. It removes panic. Before you had that cushion, car makes a weird noise? Stress. Phone screen cracks? Stress. You get an unexpected medical bill? Deep, gut-wrenching stress. After 10K, those same problems happen, but there's way less of an emotional crash out. It's not because you're rich, it's because you're not fragile anymore. And that fragility, that feeling that one wrong move could collapse everything, that's what keeps people stuck. And this is where it gets really interesting. Before $10,000, every decision feels urgent. You don't pick the best option, you pick the cheapest option. And that mindset, that's dangerous. When you're broke, your brain goes into short-term survival mode. There's a Princeton study that showed financial stress drops your cognitive performance by about 13 IQ points. That's like being low-key drunk all day, every day. So when people say, why do broke people make bad decisions? That's why. Their brain is under constant siege. After you get that cushion, your brain finally gets enough oxygen to think ahead. You stop asking, can I afford this today? And you start asking, is this smart long term? That shift alone is the real upgrade. So let's talk numbers. Say your monthly expenses are $2,500. That $10,000 gives you 4 months of runway. And that runway means you can leave a trash job. It means you can say no without crippling fear. You can take a calculated risk without instantly folding if it doesn't work out. That's why people with savings walk different. They're not tougher, they're not smarter, they just got options. And having options is the closest thing to freedom most of us will ever feel. Now you might be thinking, all right, Unc, so once I hit 10K, I'm straight, right? Nah, this is where people mess it all up. Here's the mistake I see every time. People hit $10,000 and they start spending like they made it. New outfits, the latest phone, trips they feel like they've earned. And look, enjoy your life, I get it. But you have to understand this critical distinction. $10,000 is not a flex fund. It's a defense fund. It's your wall against the world. Because inflation alone is eating 3 to 4% of that every single year, just historically speaking. So that 10 grand is losing value just by sitting there. Then add on lifestyle creep, that slow, quiet upgrade to your daily spending. That's the recipe. That's how people with decent money manage to stay broke forever. And here's what most people never get. The goal isn't to use the 10,000. The goal is to build a life where you never, ever need to touch it. So what's the play? What do you actually do when you hit that number? Step 1, lock it down. This money is for emergencies only. Put it in a high-yield savings account where it can at least fight inflation a little bit. And here's the key. Make sure there is no debit card attached to it. You need to create friction between you and that money. Step 2 is to separate your emotions from the math. Your brain is screaming for relief. It wants to feel the reward of all that hard work. But your future needs structure. And in this fight, structure has to win every time. Which brings us to step 3, build your income. $10,000 in savings doesn't actually change your day-to-day life. You know what does? Cash flow, more money coming in every month. Use the peace of mind that savings gives you to make bigger moves. Use that mental space to learn a high-income skill, to get the confidence to switch jobs for a 20% raise, to start that small side business, to negotiate harder for what you're worth. That's why 10 grand is the launchpad, not the finish line. Now, here's the part folks hate to hear. The biggest change that happens after you save $10,000? You realize the money wasn't the problem. Your habits are the problem. Your discipline is. Your patience is. And that uncomfortable feeling that settles in your gut when you realize this, that's growth knocking at your door. Before, you could always blame being broke.
You had an excuse. If only I had some money, then I would. Well, now you do. Now the spotlight is on you. It's on your choices, your consistency, your ability to delay gratification. The excuses are gone. It's on you now. Look, let's be real. $10,000 won't buy you freedom. It won't buy you happiness. It is not the magic bullet that makes you successful. But what it does buy is something almost more valuable. It buys you space. Space to think. Space to move smart instead of desperate. Space to stop panicking every time an unexpected bill shows up. So if you're out there right now, grinding toward that first 10K, you are not crazy. You are not behind. You are building a foundation that most people will never even touch in their entire lives. So stack it, protect it, and then use the clarity it gives you, not the cash, to go and truly level up your life. On Scout, catch you the next one.